What's up, guys? It's been a minute. I haven't been able to get much content out. We had a little baby girl back in May, so I've been playing dad for a little while. I know Nolan's been kind of carrying the torch about getting some content out, but I'm on my own property today. I have a trail cam that I just got sitting on the property. I let it sit, and I always have doe kicking around, and this morning I actually had a nice 8-point buck come walking through, so I kind of put some wind in my sails to want to get out here and do some stuff. I'm on a trail that I've made, and it goes down to a natural opening right down in there. I'm not going to walk all the way down in there. My goal is actually I'm going to hit these taller trees up here to the left. So that's where that deer came through this morning. That's where I always have deer. I've been here 2 years now, 2 hunting seasons, and this will be my 3rd year. I think it's technically my 3rd year will hit in November. Time flies, I'm trying to remember. 2 or 3 years I've lived on this property now. But that down there opens up just like 1/8 of an acre or so. But they've always cruised that. Is everything from like natural strawberries to blueberries to just a little bit of everything that they like to eat. There's some bedding down in there. A ways back it turns into swamp. So I have some of these trees that overlook it, and the way we're looking right now is pretty much south. Yeah, I always in the wintertime have like a northwest wind that comes down through, so my wind would be at my back blowing into it. So it's gonna be a difficult plot for me to hunt. But my goal is today is I'm gonna climb up in some of those trees and see if I can't find a tree that will work with the wind. If I have like a just off wind, in the sense of like if it's a little bit more western than northern, excuse me, then maybe I can hunt the spot. But this is just an easy spot for me to get to. So come this fall when I want to hunt and my wife is home, I can just ask her to kind of tag out for a few hours. She can take over baby duty, and maybe I can just run down behind the house. We have a horse pasture. It's just over these bushes essentially. I'm only like 600 feet or so from my house. So it'd be just kind of a perfect spot if I could actually make this work. So my goal is I'm gonna make a trail. I'm gonna find a tree and then make a tiny little trail. There's a trail for me to walk through, to come back out and hop on this main road I got. I got the deer walking on the road already, so they're familiar with it, and I want to make something so I can just shoot off here and try to get over there. There's also water over there. There's a big old natural spring. So not only is there a food spot, I've laid down some clover in there and some like other like brassicas and whatnot. We've had a very drought summer, a very dry summer, which makes a drought, not a drought summer, but you understand what I'm saying. So not much of it's really taken off, but the deer is still coming through. So I'm gonna climb up one of these trees, see if I can't find a location that will work. And I'll be over the water as well, which would be kind of nice because in the morning and stuff, thermals and everything should kind of rise relatively well. That's what my hopes are, because water does play a big factor into your thermals. So yeah, we'll go climb a tree and I'll give you a video from that side to see what it looks like. If I have to, I'll poke further back. I'm gonna try to squeeze through all this crap and get to those trees over there. I'm gonna find out. This is a very last minute plan. I'm kind of in a time crunch. Ooh, a raspberry. Actually, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the spring hole is right down in there. Which I'm glad I found, because I didn't want to step in it. So I stuffed like a 6-foot long, excuse me, I stuck like a 6-foot long tree branch down in it one time, and I never found the bottom. So it's a good sized spring hole. Okay. Made it over here now. Yeah. This is all nice spring water. For how dry it's been, you know it's a good spring, because I really couldn't tell you the last time we actually got good rain. I mean, we had like a ½ inch of rain hit for the first time in 3 weeks. The other day. Ouch. That little bastard. Okay. Alright. What I think I'm going to do. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be the tree, because it looks like there's a trail that cuts through here. And I wouldn't be surprised if it cuts through here to get to that spring hole to drink some water. There's some cedar over there. I think I'm going to climb this tree first. It looks like a... Oh, I can't see. I think it's a maple. I'm getting better at my trees, but that one's for sure a maple. This just might be an older maple. So I'm going to climb up here. That's going to look down over into my food plot. I brought my rangefinder. That way I can figure it out. But I'd have all this covered if this was to work out. The only thing is, like I said, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a trail that cuts right through the center of this. And I'm not sure if I want to sit on that. I could even bump over to one of these trees, but I wouldn't be able to shoot it narrow down into the plot. So let's climb up one of these trees. Let's take a peek and see what it looks like. Okay. So I made it. I'm in my tree stand. I dropped my platform. So I'm just standing on a stick. So I'm 4 sticks up. I have my sticks a little close. These are newer sticks. They're new to me sticks. I bought used sticks that were sold used. So I'm like the 4th owner. We'll see how that works out for me in my favor. See how well they hold up. But I wanted to show you, a minute ago I was talking to you about the food plot I'm overlooking. And like I said, I'm 4 sticks and I can see down into it. I shot it with my rangefinder. It's about 30 yards, which is okay with me. And just to show you kind of like for a reference point, my house is up there. I don't know if you can see my house, but up there, that's my house. And there's a road, you might see the car go by. Might have been able to see that in the video, I'm not sure, but I can see the horses and everything from here. And then I have a road that kind of zigzagged down through. I walked into the woods right here somewhere. And then that road ends. And right here, there's a little like, man, it's a tiny little spot. It's not big at all, but they come through there quite a bit. And there's a bunch of trails that come from over here and up through the woods that way. There's a trail that comes right down through here, right below my feet, goes off into the woods, and there's a spring right over here. There's even water. In fact, when I dropped my platform, you can't see it because of the tree limbs right here, I heard it land in the water. So, cool. At least it's washed, I guess. I think something that is missed with hunting is efficiency of just setting up. I haven't set up yet once this year. And last year, I did a ton of sits and I was pretty good at getting up and down the tree. This year, first coming up here, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it took me way longer than I would have liked to admit to get up in this tree. But learning curves and practicing and whatnot. But yeah, 30 yards down in, there's a cedar there's a cedar like wall back there. You see where this property was cut like 6 years ago by the person I bought it from, and that's my property line, is right where that all those cedars pop back up. And I've scouted the crap out of this property, and down the cedars kind of cut in. There's a bowl down there, and it seems like a lot of the deer come up through there. There's a dirt road to my far side, to the left side of the property, and it goes into my neighbor's property, which they run a business. They run a trucking company out of there, so they're doing a lot of stuff all the time. There's always activity. And based off how that road goes, there's an old road that comes back to that backside of that bowl. It's all grown in, and they kind of cruise up through there. And it seems like once they get here, they don't walk through the center of all this new growth, but it's really, really thick in there and wet. So they go out to the far side, or they come around through here. And I think that's why there's trails that come from the left, which would be my east right now, and then stuff coming from the south. Is they just come up through here, and I don't know how well you can tell by camera or not, but there's tall trees along the edge, and it's cedars primarily, but there's water that goes through there, and it's dry on this side, and there's dry on the other side. And they kind of walk this transition, and then they pop over, and sometimes they take a left, and it comes to the back side of my field, the very far end, and they walk the property line, and they end up crossing the main road. Or I think they hook it and come back down. My biggest challenge of hunting this property is just wind direction in the wintertime. I don't have a really good spot to set up because it's just so thick down into the rest of the property without opening it all up, which eventually I plan on making more like trails. I have a tractor with like a 5-foot brush hog. And what I've been doing was going through and just finding dry routes and kind of just cruising through and cutting it, making like little pathways that the animals like to use, I like to use. And my plan is when I'm doing that is just to back feed. That's not the right word, but like whatever I brush hog and cut down, I want to spread some seed in it, whether it be clovers to brassicas, turnips, whatever, so that way the deer, when they're walking the trails or eating, it just makes them want to come here even more. But yeah, I kind of all over the place probably with how I'm talking right now, but I'm just kind of stumping how I'm actually going to hunt this. It just has to be the right wind. You know, I won't be able to hunt this every day, every sit. Originally my plan was I was going to set up over on that side of the property in that nice tree that's kind of leaned out and over, but I don't think that would be the right way to go with the wind constantly in towards the fall. It switches to like a northwest wind pretty constantly. It blows right down that way. So this is just going to be a hard one because I gotta hope they're coming from down in here. My thought process is maybe like I can hunt this in the mornings, but I don't know, because my pasture back there, they eat the pasture sometimes. So if they're eating at night and they're going back to bedding, I know I've jumped deer right in here for bedding every now and then. There's a doe I've jumped in here, and I'm not positive, but I thought I heard 2 blows, like snort wheezes, when I first came down in here. But I was kind of moving around when I heard it, and I stopped, and then I started moving again, and I heard a second one, I thought, and that was over this way. I think I just got some studying to do, but I'm happy with this tree. I'm happy with my setup. It's kind of hard to tell, but I have good backing. The sun is kind of hitting me right now, but it's midday, so in the morning it would be the sun would be to my left, and at night it would be back down this way. And even though I think I'm kind of lit up a little bit, in October I can just wear a bunch of camouflage, and even in November, even with wearing orange, I think if I just wear like something on my face, and yeah, so I'd be up just a hair more. And there's a couple of these little branches. I might be skylit, but I can also, what's nice about these saddles is I can kind of lean around if I needed to. I can hide behind either this maple, or I can even extend out if I needed to and lean back behind this tree. And with that platform, I think if I put my body right to this tree, I'd kind of look like part of it. And what works for me is I pull back with my right hand, so all of this would be easy for me to shoot, just, you know, based off that draw. I'm not really going to be shooting to the left because of how thick it is. Really, I have to wait for them to come out and get into this little opening. The food plot being down over here, I gotta stop calling it the food plot because nothing grew in it. So, so there's just this natural little opening at this point. It's right over here. Yeah. This is rookie season. I was definitely a rookie climbing this tree and dropping my platform to the ground about I don't know, I bet you I'm 12, 15 feet up. Man. Overcoming this wind thing is going to be my biggest battle on this property. Unfortunately, it just blows right to them. That were too tall, and I did trim those. I didn't trim them too much because I wanted deer to still feel safe. And once I had the platform, which would put me up another like 2 feet, I'll have a nice clear shot down in there. I'm perplexed by this, but we'll figure it out. And if not, I'll put some footage up this year of me hanging out in a tree. Hopefully there's deer in it. Not the tree, but in the footage. Alright guys. Thanks for tagging along and listening to me go on a rant. Till next time.